You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Oh, it's been a while since I've blown out the microphone just to start things off. So, I was inspired by the rooster outside.
I'm also inspired by the rooster.
Yeah.
I want to make that noise, but I'm not confident that I would be able to do it as well as you did.
Did I do it well? Because my throat hurts. I'm Daniel Hargrove.
I'm Justin Domashevitz. We have our trusty producer, Andrew Gross, here with us as well. He made us late getting on the air today.
My bad.
Daniel and I showed up early, and Andrew, not ready at 3, didn't get live until 3:02.
Right? Gosh.
This guy.
What a bum.
We're fashionably late.
Fashionably? Were you going to say fashionably on time?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. So Daniel eats dog treats is what I learned in the pre-show conversation. He's eaten dog treats multiple times in his life. Even one time when he admitted he knew it was a dog treat and he still ate it.
You know what, Justin? I told you that in confidence. I thought we were in a safe place.
You didn't say that. You didn't say off the record.
I had to say.
You have to say off the record. If there's any embarrassing stories you don't want told on the show, you have to say off the record.
Oh, man.
I'm a journalist.
I've told you so many stories over the years. Do I have to do this post?
Posthumously?
I was going to say posthumously,
Wow.
but I'm not dead.
No.
But do I have to go, hey, do I have to remember all the stories that I've told you and say that one's off the record, that one's off the record, that one's off the record?
Legally, yes.
You're just going to start bringing up times when I was pantsed in public and stuff like that?
Start? You know how many of those stories I've told?
I don't know.
None, really.
Was it last week when I wasn't here?
Daniel, I don't talk to people.
I was thinking on the show.
I don't think sometimes when you're not there, I insult you. I don't think I tell embarrassing stories though. Andrew?
Nah, I've never heard you tell an embarrassing story about Daniel.
Okay.
We did appreciate you joining us from the beyond
That was funny.
state lines last week.
I was hoping that you appreciated that and weren't just annoyed by it.
No, it's
'cause
funny.
I did just kind of bomb in with 70-mile-an-hour winds right into the microphone.
No,
so.
we wanted that actually. We were hoping we were talking beforehand, hoping that you would just pop in at some point.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Good.
I probably better for the video people who watch the video.
Yeah.
Not quite as good for the audio, but the visuals of you not being able to really talk because the wind was so bad, and I don't know if you're having reception issues or what, but it's really
pretty much just the wind.
yeah. That was pretty
crazy.
funny.
Yeah.
But also gorgeous scenery. So
Right? It was a cool trip. Even though the weather was it wasn't what you would expect a cool trip to be, because normally you'd be like, oh, it was nice weather and we were walking on the beach. It was more like it was a storm and we tried to walk on the beach
and we didn't die.
Yeah, it was exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, Oregon Coast storm is
It's pretty cool.
possibly a plus.
Yeah,
overall.
exactly. We went to this place right before I called you guys. Actually, it was a little pull out place where you pull over and look, and it was a spot where you could see Thor's hole. Whoops, sorry, I kept calling it Thor's well.
Isn't that cool?
But apparently Andrew knows Thor's hole. I mean, well. But you can look down there and you can see it, and the waves come crashing in, and then all of a sudden after the waves hit, there's a 1 second, and then the water comes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Geysering out of the well hole.
Yeah.
Thing.
I grew up around one of those really similar things
Okay.
in Hawaii. It's called the blowhole.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just like a rock formation that has a hole in the middle, and the waves come in,
and then
it
just
shoots.
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were watching that, and I have a video of it where we're literally 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and we're it's Courtney. Did you see? Wasn't that cool? And she's like, yeah.
They should really. They should have. They've got those clip-on. Wish.com
Microphones.
Telescopic lenses for phones,
Oh,
but they need
yeah.
a clip-on. They need a clip-on wind screen.
Yeah, yes, for your phone.
Yeah, because
100%. Yeah,
the little bit of foam makes a big difference on the microphone.
absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. I tried to take some pictures through my dad's binoculars when I was on the trip. That's really hard.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Possible.
binoculars are not for
Possible,
taking
but
pictures. They're for
very
seeing
difficult.
things from far away.
True, but I did get a couple of pictures of a bald eagle through it that were pretty
Nice,
cool.
nice.
The other thing, Daniel, before we move into the local sports roundup that we need to talk about is the blossoming acting career of your son. Have you hired an agent yet?
I have not hired an agent yet. Here's a picture through binoculars.
Oh, where's the eagle?
Are you going to show the viewers, Daniel, or
Here.
just Justin?
Oh, is that 2 eagles?
Yeah, it was 2 eagles. There's a binocular picture. You can't really see much on these cameras, but
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. There you go.
other way. Yeah. Yes. So I, I'm one of those parents that is just. This is in complete tongue in cheek for you out there in the internet world who don't know us, but just taking advantage of my cute son and just throwing it in front of the camera to take advantage of it.
For your own selfish purposes.
Exactly, my own gain.
Yeah.
Yep. So if he does get an agent, I'll make sure that I go like,
I think you're supposed to be his agent.
oh, is that how it works?
Isn't that how
How did
Michael
Britney
Jackson
Spears
did it?
is that Michael Jackson's parents, Britney Spears' parents? Basically, don't they just take all their money and like
Yeah.
make their kids produce more
Well,
art?
Britney Spears got, like, her dad was her conservator, right?
Yeah.
So that's almost more like a mental thing.
It
not
was
even
like
a-
you're not. It was like a legal. You're not capable of managing your own money, so I get to keep it all kind of a thing.
Yikes.
But then he
Yeah.
also was supposed to like take care of her and make sure she was okay. Did a bad job.
Yeah, real bad job. Anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah. But did you like it?
I loved it. I thought it was a great video.
I was yeah.
Go to Lewis County PUD Facebook page.
Facebook,
and
Instagram,
check out
YouTube.
the video. It's very cool.
Yeah. If you want to see the longer version, it's on YouTube.
Oh,
it's about
how long?
It's about 30 seconds longer.
Oh, it's like that video I saw was like 2 minutes. So is a 2.5 minutes? Or
The one on Facebook is 1 minute and 22
okay,
seconds.
yeah.
And I know exactly 1 minute and 22 because I was tasked to try and get it down to 1 minute, and I couldn't get it down any farther.
Well,
Yeah.
what were you supposed to do? Take some of the shots of your son's face off of there? That would make it worse.
I know exactly.
worse.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and you needed the scenery.
yeah. Exactly. That was kind of the point of it. So yeah, it was a really fun project.
Yeah.
That was for sure. It makes me want to do more stuff like that, but for like around here, for like my own pleasure.
For like our show.
Not for, well, yeah, I could do something
Yeah.
like that for our show. Remember when I used to do stuff? Like I used to make videos and
Vaguely.
stuff. Right? It's been a long time.
we play a video you made at the beginning of every show.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Which I selfishly put myself into like 3 times.
You know what we really should do? We have a handful of random videos from local sports around here.
Yeah.
We should make a new video with those.
We should.
Yeah.
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 I'm in.
Anyway.
I rearranged our room that has the computer in it now too, so I need to like get back into the lab with my 3 monitors looking like a villain's lair.
So cool.
It is pretty cool. Oh yeah.
Well, should we get to the meat and potatoes of the show?
Meat.
Let's go ahead and kick off.
Potatoes.
The
Sorry. I don't know why I started talking in that Surf's Up villain voice, the tank. But that's the voice that do you know that movie? You seen Surf's Up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, this one. This is Sheila, where he's talking about all his surfing trophies.
Yeah.
So good.
Sometimes
So
you get like a
funny.
little bit of Kronk in there.
Sorry, it's true.
You get like a Patrick Warburton vibe. Well, let's go ahead and move into the local sports roundup. Montesano's girls basketball team advanced past the regional round of the state tourney with a convincing 47-19 win over the Bush School on Saturday.
Bush League.
Jilly Dalen scored a game-high 16 points and pulled down 9 rebounds, while Tiander Olsen scored 9 points, grabbed a team-best 11 boards, and dished out 6 assists. Josie Forster and Ava Schrader chipped in 7 rebounds apiece. The 10th-seeded Bulldogs will face 7-seed Kashmir on Wednesday in a loser-out, winner-to-the-quarterfinals matchup in Yakima.
Working title: Bulldogs pruned the bush. Does that work? I don't know. Working title. Willapa Valley's basketball team advanced to the 1B state quarterfinals with a 59-51 win over Tulela Heritage on Friday in Chehalis. Oh, I was down there the next day. Junior guard Blaine King led the Vikings with 20 points and 7 rebounds. Nathan Fluke scored 13 points and pulled down 10 boards. And J.B. Russell led Valley with 10 rebounds. With 10 rebounds. Somebody else also had 10 rebounds. The 3rd seed Vikings will face the winner of the 12 seed Garfield Palouse and 5 seed Nia Bay on Thursday in Spokane.
I wonder if I put the wrong stat in there.
Yeah, I'm confused.
I'm going to have to go back and check that. Sorry, Vikings. Costa boys basketball season came to an end on Friday in Wenatchee with a 69-34 regional round state loss to Elmira Cooley Heartline. Freshman post Sonny Beard recorded a double-double with 11 points and 14 rebounds for the Wildcats, while senior guard Caden Turner capped his high school career with 11 points.
Elmira Cooley Heartline sounds like either a law firm or a witch's coven. I don't know. Still working on that one.
Demons.
Hoquiam girls basketball season ended in the regional round of state. My favorite round. I hate that round. On Saturday with a 64-42 loss to Nuxuk Valley. Hoquiam was the 16 seed and Nuxuk was the 9 seed. Aaliyah Kennedy led the Grizzlies with 12 points and 6 rebounds.
She's really good.
Yep.
In the 1B girls state tournament, Mary M. Knight lost its opener to Muckleshoot Tribal 53-44, and Willapa Valley fell to Elmira Cooley Heartline 58-22. But Tahola beat Evergreen Lutheran 58-35 on Tuesday. Unfortunately, Tahola's season ended on Saturday with a 61-29 loss to Oaksdale.
Oaksdale.
Yeah, so that was all of our teams in the 1B girls bracket. Outski.
Lame. Several Aberdeen Bobcat Hoopers. Sorry, that one didn't work too well. Several Aberdeen Bobcat Hoopers earned 2A Evergreen All-League honors this season. On the boys' side, a duo of juniors, Isaac Garcia and Jacob Quezada, earned a second-team nod. Quezada led the Bobcats in scoring this season, averaging 13.9 points and knocking down 67 threes. And Garcia averaged 10.9 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 2.2 steals. On the girls' side, sophomores Sophia Knutson and Bentley Brown made the second team, and senior Olivia Lamont earned an honorable mention.
In the 1A Evergreen Basketball League, Monty Juniors Mason Fry and Tarek Gunter and sophomore Caden Grubb each earned an all-league honor. Fry was named to the first team after averaging 14.1 points, 9.3 rebounds, and 1.4 steals. Grubb made the first team with 12.8 points and 10.1 rebounds per game.
No grubs.
And Gunter was selected to the second team, averaging 9.1 points and better than 1 steal. Elma also had 3 honorees, with senior Traden Carter making the first team, along with junior Isaac McGaffey and senior Theo Flores being named to the second team. Hoquiam sophomore Lincoln Nemi was named to the first team, I think for the second year in a row now. Joey Bozic made the second team, and Riker Maxfield received an honorable mention. Congratulations to all of the all-league honorees. I'm sure we'll get the 1A girls side coming out pretty soon here as well. And that's going to conclude the local sports roundup. In fact, it wasn't even the Daily World. By the way, go subscribe to the Daily World, thedailyworld.com. A lot of our info comes from them. They had the 2A Evergreen teams, all league teams posted in articles. The 1A Evergreen League teams haven't been posted anywhere yet that I've seen. Okay. Like the full team. Right. But I was able to go on the boys' side to all the different social medias.
Sleuth it out.
And figure it out.
Social sleuthed it.
We really, the MVP of the 1A Evergreen League was Austin Ganya from Tenino, which I have no problem with.
I do. Tenino?
I have a problem with Tenino. I don't have a problem with Austin. He's really good. He's an excellent player. Monty and Tenino ended the season in a shared league title. Monty got the 1 seed, but there's still just a shared league title. They had the same record, and they split against each other. So I think having Austin as the MVP, very deserving. But then the whole rest of the first team was made up all of local kids, because you had Mason Fry and Caden Grubb from Monty. You had Traden Carter and Isaac McGaffey from Elma, and then Lincoln Nemi from Hoquiam. Yep. So Grays Harbor dominated the first team. And then second team, I don't think there's any holes because we had Theo Flores, Tarek Gunter, Joey Bozich, and then the two Tenino kids, Jack Burkhart and Will Feltus were the other ones. So the only thing we don't have from that team is all the other honorable mentions,
Right.
Which I don't know. But
Yeah. Probably some Rochester kids.
Probably. Yeah.
Rochester.
I'm thinking about it too. I'm like, I think because Monty's social media has posted their all league honorees. They didn't post any honorable mentions, so I don't know if that means they didn't get any, or if there just weren't any.
Right.
Elma didn't have any that they posted either, and then for Hoquiam it was just Riker that they had. So
My dad just texted me in case I needed to know that the Blazers and Cavs are going to overtime.
the Blazers are hot right now.
They're so hot right now.
If
Are
the
they
Bla-
hot again? Because they were real hot and then they cooled for a little bit. Are they back on the?
Medium. They're medium hot.
They're
now.
medium hot.
Well,
so
the
you got
thing
their
is-
burner turned to medium.
So if they were,
So it's not like the Blazers. It's more like the heaters.
They're a couple games out of the play-in in the Western Conference right now. If they were in the Eastern Conference, they would be firmly in the play-in.
Oh, yeah.
and only a couple games out of being out of the play-in.
Yeah, the Eastern Conference is
So,
dumb.
I think definitely seeing, especially Shaden Sharp had an awesome highlight dunk
Oh man,
the other day.
that was nuts.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah.
So I think things are looking up a little bit there in Portland.
I
They
think
make
so.
some moves in the off season and hopefully keep this young core together and see what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. We have 7 concurrent viewers. I think that means that right now, right?
Yeah.
Hit us up in the live chat. Want to know what you guys want to know more about. If you have an Athlete of the Week nomination you want us to talk about.
Right.
Or, gosh dang it, there's another thing I was going to ask. Oh, if Nick's out there, maybe, drop some comments about what happened with R.A. Long, because I'm pretty sure they
won.
dominated.
Yeah, they did.
I want to we need to talk to Evans. Evan? Is it Evans
It's
his
Matt.
last name?
It's Matt Evans.
Matt Evans.
From Evans Rankings.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to talk to Matt
You want me to
because
get him for next week?
it's been wild so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, if we could talk to him next week, that would be perfect timing coming off the state tournament.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, in the first round of all the respective state tournaments, there were 3 1 seeds that went down in their openers. It was, I think, 4A girls, 3A boys, Rainier Beach lost their opener.
Whoa.
And then the other one we just talked about. What was it? I can't remember now.
It was Rainier.
Rainier. Yeah,
Yep.
from the 2B girls tournament.
Yeah.
So we've seen 1 seeds fall, and then Forrest, our friend Forrest Worgum, who's a excellent local photographer. Go check out his stuff on socials as well. But Forrest was texting me he was at the Natchez Valley.
Oh, Nacho Valley?
Nacho Valley versus Linden Christian game, and Natchez Valley was winning for almost all of it, and just kind of fell apart at the end. Ended up losing by 3 points.
By just 3 points.
That would have been another 1 seed
Yeah.
going down.
Crazy.
So,
and I would have been like the biggest Nacho Valley fan because they would have beaten Linden Christian.
yeah.
I'd have bought a bunch of Nacho t-shirts. It would have been great. But
Like
now-
actual nacho t-shirts, or you would have dialed up whoever's in Natchez Valley and been like, hey, did you guys do district title t-shirts or whatever?
Or,
how can we order one?
Suck it Linden Christian t-shirts.
Yeah.
I'll pay for you to make them.
How about we just make our own?
Yeah.
Suck it Linden
Dude,
Christian.
how do we not have that made yet?
People from Linden Christian will be like, what's these guys' problem? They have no idea
No
who we
clue.
are.
No clue.
No idea that we hate them
I
so
just
much.
hate you guys.
Just
Forrest is Forrest. He said should have been 5 1 seeds lost, but a couple survived. I think one of them was that game we were just talking about. Forrest, let me know who the other one who was close to losing was as well. I was at the Monty girls game,
Yeah.
and this is a game where they dominated start to finish in this matchup. That's weird. My bracket just went all weird. But they would have been running clock territory had Tiander played offense, had the scoring production I know she's capable of. But she was had one of those days where she was cold from the outside, couldn't hit any jumpers, and she was getting open looks. And frankly, a lot of her teammates who I'm used to hitting open jumpers were getting open looks, and none of them were really converting. And it never put the game in jeopardy. I was just waiting for a 15-0 run to really put the game out of its misery, and it never quite happened. But they just, good defense, good rebounding, grinded away, got the win, barely let the other team score. Only one girl scored for like 3/4 of the game, and then a couple of her teammates chipped in a little bit. But it was a Montesano domination, and it was hard to pick a player of the game. But you look down at the end of it, and you're like, oh, somehow Jilly had like a really off night and still scored 16 points. And I don't even think she had an off night. It's just every time they tried to pass her the ball, it felt like it was getting tipped away. So it wasn't like she played poorly. It was she's getting double teamed constantly, and they're still trying to pass her the ball, and it's really hard. And yet somehow you look down and she's like, oh, 16 points, 8 rebounds.
I'm kind of curious about the strategy there when a team would go box and one on Jilly.
Yeah.
I feel like
I had never seen a box and one on a post player before.
So I want to preface this by saying I'm not being like remotely critical. Like the coaches, Mansfield, way more experience than I have. But how did it not just turn into the Tiander Olsen show?
She was ice cold. That and anybody watching knows how much we love Tiander Olsen.
She's awesome. I said 2 weeks ago that she's one of the best girls basketball players I've ever covered. And she's only a sophomore.
Yeah. Is she only a sophomore?
Pretty sure.
I think you're right. Yeah, she's only a sophomore. Somebody else is a junior, right?
Jilly's a junior.
Yeah, Jilly's a junior. So, like I said, she was cold. I kept expecting her to just all of a sudden put up 20 points, and it just never happened. So I was very surprised. But it didn't really affect anything either. So it's not like she had to start forcing it to try and get herself going. It was like, okay, I'm not playing too well. I'm just going to keep grinding.
Well, and then like a player like Tiander affects the game in like every possible way because she defensive league MVP.
Yep.
And then also she led the team in rebounds as their point guard and had 6 assists as well. Note from Forrest, Gonzaga prep boys beat Puyallup by 2. That'd be 4A boys.
Dude, I would be so excited. I mean, not that I care too much about Puyallup, just because I think I naturally don't like Puyallup a little bit because Brock Heward went there, and he always talks about it a lot, and he's a huge UW guy, so I just kind of naturally don't like Puyallup. But it would be so cool if a school like Puyallup beat a prep school, just in my general hatred of private schools.
Yeah.
Gosh, I have issues. I have issues. I have some major heart issues when it comes to private schools, man.
Forrest pointed out to me, I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but it was something like in the 1A, I think the boys bracket, he can correct me if I got this wrong. It's like 7 of the 16 teams were private schools. And I was like, I want to do an analysis and figure out like what percentage of the 1A as a whole is private schools, and then what percentage of those are making the tournament.
In the girls 1A, it's 8.
So that's the thing is I want to look at like,
and in the top.
So Forrest is saying on the boys side it's 7 private,
and in the girls side it was 8 private.
And I don't think that half of 1A is private schools. I think like maybe 1/5 of 1A is private schools,
so,
or maybe a quarter.
Not only is the girls side half of the team's private schools, but then you look at the top 8, because the top 8 have they're automatically to the next round.
Yeah.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 8 are private schools. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm so with you, and I don't know like. It's we've discussed this like 10 times on this show. It's a problem that I don't think there's a great solution to.
No, there isn't.
Because there's also the difference between Gonzaga Prep and Linden Christian is pretty huge.
Yeah.
So like you can't just say, okay,
all private
schools have your own division, because then you're going to have the same problem with the disparity of size and resources for the big private schools like Bellevue Christian.
And some of them already play up.
Yeah.
I think
most of them
I think
do.
you should be at least required to play up 1, if not 2.
Yeah.
So that would be my thought for basketball. I think it's a sport-specific thing, too.
Yeah.
I don't need all of the private schools to play up 2 in football, because that probably wouldn't work out well. and then what would you do with the top ones?
It's easier to like go recruit so like Vancouver, Tacoma, like these private schools,
Right.
Bellingham, like Linden, like those areas. It's really easy to recruit like 4 or 5 really good players for basketball.
Exactly.
Harder to recruit an entire football team.
Yes, and yet you still see Linden
see it.
Christian and Kings really good at football. But I think basketball, soccer is a big one too because it's a huge
It's a club sport.
It's a huge club sport culture for soccer, and what you get is in these big areas, all these Vancouver girls playing on a Vancouver elite club team, and they go, "Hey, you know what? We like playing together. Why don't we do this for high school too? Let's all go to this one private school." And then all of a sudden you got like 10 kids from this one club team all playing on the same private school team. And you're like, what's going on here?
Right. And
It's
they
insane.
have their radius that they're allowed to
Yeah.
bring kids in from. So
It's
but, like,
ridiculous.
you pointed this out when we were talking the other day, like Kingsway Christian and Seton Catholic. Those
Yeah.
are the two Trico 1A private schools.
Yes.
And they're both in Vancouver.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a 50-mile radius, but there's so many people there.
Yes.
Like, it's a population center that most of these other 1A schools have no access to.
Yep.
So, having a 50-mile radius on those is not really helpful for the rest of 1A.
Exactly. Rick Anderson on my drive back from Chehalis, because he came with me to help with the broadcast, and he said that there was this one time, he said the best player, it was a soccer team, and it was Fidel, I think, was coaching against the team. So I'm not sure if he was I think he was the girls coach at Monty at the time, maybe, but he was playing a private school north of Seattle. And apparently the best player on the team was from like Auburn. And so Rick was like, "Hey, Rob, should I say that Fidel should just pick her up on the way for the game?" Because it was like 40 miles away. And then he told me another one. He said when O'Day was having like their powerhouse run in football, apparently one of the years their best offensive lineman was from Port Angeles. It's like, you taking the ferry every day to football practice? What's going on here?
Yeah. Forrest is pointing out, since we were talking about private schools, Annie Wright, which is where last year's 1A Evergreen Boys Basketball League MVP Noah Scow transferred to Annie Wright, which is in Tacoma. Annie Wright in 1A Boys is absolutely dominant.
Yeah, they're insane.
Beat Rainier Beach earlier this season, which is
was
the number 1 seed out of 3A.
One season.
So, and they beat him. Annie Wright, and so this
And
is
like
another
a
thing.
basketball powerhouse.
I love that I get to text with Forrest because he pays a lot of attention to basketball across the state. And I was like, what do you think is more likely for Annie Wright boys? That any team in the state tournament plays them competitive, like within a couple possessions, or that they win every game by 12 plus?
Yeah.
Because I could go either way on that.
My only thought would be Seton Catholic.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. They're not even the 2 seed.
True. But from what I've heard of that team,
Yeah.
and when glory days, when I was at the state tournament,
Yeah.
there was 2 teams at the top and the rest of the teams fighting for everybody else. You want to know what those 2 teams were? Linden Christian and Kings.
Kings. Yeah. It's always Linden Christian and Kings.
Right? And so now you got Annie Wright pumping up in there. Seton Catholic used to be a B school like 5 years ago. And then all of a sudden we're like, you know what? Let's start recruiting athletes. And they've become a sports school like overnight.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And the fact that it's gone this way so fast is just nuts.
Seton Catholic lost to Annie Wright by 30 earlier this season. That's how good Annie Wright is.
Wow.
Like Noah Scow went from being clearly the best player in 1A
easy.
Evergreen,
Yeah.
clear MVP, to being like the 4th best player on his own team. He's
That's
like the
nuts.
4th scoring option.
That's
when
crazy.
I watched a highlight video on Instagram of one of their big wins earlier this year.
Yeah.
And they talked about these other 3 guys, and it was like, and Noah Scow scored a surprising 11 points for Annie Wright. Like, he's not.
Why did he go there?
So he could be.
That's not
I
hurt.
can't-
That does not help your recruiting stock.
I don't
I'm
know if it does or
sorry.
not. I don't know if it does or not.
That can't.
But he's good, though. He's still good.
He's still good. He is still good.
He's a really good player.
Dude, that also reminds me, I was talking to Rick about, dude, you take a road trip with Rick, man. It's the best.
You can't tell me what to do.
We can talk anything. So then I was talking to him about that Hoquiam squad with Varner and Adams and Steen.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I know all the stuff happened with Bubba Dick, and he decided, Like, you can't fault a kid for just being like, yeah, I just don't want to play. That's okay. But had he been there, I was like, man, that was a chance. That was one of those teams that could have won state. And then I was like, well, Corey Kispert was playing for Kings, and he was a 6'4" dude dunking on people who then was a star at Gonzaga and is now in the NBA. So you know what? Maybe they wouldn't have won the state title because they had a freaking NBA dude playing 1A basketball in a private school. But sorry. What were we talking about?
I can't remember. We got going on private schools. We got to stop doing this. Actually, we haven't done this in a while.
We haven't.
If people are new to the show,
that's why it's overflowing right now.
Yeah.
Dude, Seton Catholic lost to Annie Wright by 30 points. Yeah. What the heck?
Yeah.
That's insane. I really wish Nick was on here too, so he could tell me if he thought R.A. Long could beat Annie Wright. Because
he would probably say that R.A. Long could beat Annie Wright, but would they? I would go Annie Wright favored by 10.5 points. # don't bet on high school sports.
Yeah. Forrest just dropped the actual final score of the Seton Catholic Annie Wright game, 81-52.
Yeah.
Dude. Also, by the way, why do high school teams seem to score less now with the shot clock than before? Like, I didn't have a shot clock. We were putting up points in the 70s and 80s like fairly regularly, and we weren't a great team. We were a good team. But now it's like shot clock's supposed to get people to shoot more and quicker, and the scoring's gone down.
And this has been like, this is not a recent thing. We're talking about like the last 10 plus years where it's like, if you get to 60, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I had a coach tell me once this year, first team to 50 wins the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Monty and Elma, first team to 42 wins the game half the time.
Yeah.
Like that's the wrong end of the example, because those are like really good defensive teams.
Yeah.
Who sometimes have a hard time putting the round thing in the other round thing. Yeah. But like, I mean, the whole time I've been covering high school basketball, the standard has been like, okay, if you get to 60 points, pretty good offensive game.
Yeah.
If you eclipse 70, you had a really good offensive game. But yeah, though, if you go further back than that, there was teams scoring 80, 90, like fairly routinely.
Yeah.
I don't know if the game has just shifted to more defensive or if it's the way it's being officiated. I'm not sure.
Part of me wonders is if the whole game has shifted so much to 3-point attempts, and high school players aren't really the best to take advantage of those, like,
no, they're terrible.
Exactly. And yet, but that's the culture of basketball right now, right? Is everybody's enamored with the 3-point shot.
Yeah.
And so they end up forcing way too many up, whereas it doesn't actually bear out the numbers,
this
you know?
This is where I think the officiating could play in, because my take generally has been that you're not incentivized to go to the basket because they just don't call a lot of fouls in there.
Right.
And if there was more incentive to go to the basket, then maybe you wouldn't see guys who are shooting 26% from 3-point range, hucking up threes left and right. Yeah. But at the same time, it would slow the game down and make it way less interesting. So like it's kind of a catch-22.
I mean, slow the game down, but more scoring generally isn't thought of as slowing the game down too much.
But there's also less teams playing trapping press defense than there used to be. Like a lot of the lockdown defensive teams don't really put pressure on you in the full court for extended periods of the game, which is, Forrest is saying teams aren't running the fast break, and I think that's what he's talking about. They're not like Monty girls. They're out there trying to trap at half court constantly, and they had a bunch of games where they got up into the 70s this year.
That's true.
I think on the boys' side, less teams are playing full court defense, trapping, and
fast pace.
Fast pace, and trying to get transition buckets.
Yeah, and I think that's a very astute observation. Less teams trying to run, but that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Like that's the basketball I love.
Yeah.
Like get us going, get it moving. Like. Yeah. If you give up a fast break the other way because, you missed on a chance, I'm fine with that. Like I want to keep the pressure on, keep the speed going. Give me those.
That's Tar Heel basketball, baby.
Give me those points, man. I want to see it. And this is a defensive guy, but so many times we've just seen these like slow, grinded out games. The Zilla boys can score. They got to over 93 times. Yeah. And that's a team that's not a private school, but they have a basketball culture down there at Zilla right now.
Boys and girls.
And they usually run.
Yeah.
Because they generally don't have much height. It's a bunch of short dudes who just run constantly, and they just keep funneling people in there who run and shoot.
Pretty sure I was just talking about the old Monty girls team of the Jordan Spradlin era that never made it to state because the regional rounds screwed
because the
them over.
rules were so
But
dumb.
I'm pretty sure one of the years that they got knocked out in regionals, it was against Zilla.
Yeah.
And they went up against a Zilla girls team
Yep.
that just pressed the crap out of them and
Yep.
forced a bunch of turnovers and beat them.
Yep. That's what it was. I remember that. Yeah. That and a Linden Christian loss where the other team, we were like, oh, who's going to stop Jordan Spradlin? Oh, I don't know. Maybe the 6'6" girl on the other side. What?
Right. Well, and Zilla, I think, didn't Zilla win the state title last year?
The boys or the girls?
The boys.
I think
they did.
I think they might have, yeah.
They did.
Yeah, Zilla's been up there for a long time.
Yeah.
Heck of a team. And not a private school, so they're like a Montesano school, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yep. Okay. Wow. We just rabbit trailed.
That was so fun.
Crazy there.
That was
It's like
so
one of my
fun.
favorite conversations.
I love this. And you know what? Like I said, we haven't done it in a while. We've done it a lot of times,
Yes.
but we haven't done it in a while.
Yes.
So you are
100%.
welcome. Also, if you didn't like it, screw you, listeners. I'm going to say and do what I want.
Exactly. Quick update. The Montesano girls will be playing Kashmir, so it'll be Bulldog versus Bulldogs on
the county
Wednesday. Yeah. On Wednesday at 10:30 in the morning. If you want to catch the radio broadcast of that game, tune in to 1490kwok.com because I will not be there. But Ryan Trotter, who's our companion from down south in Lewis County,
Down under.
he'll dude, we should start calling Lewis County down under.
Down under.
I like it. He will be over there at state. I gave him all of our equipment, so it'll sound crystal clear. It won't be a phone broadcast. It'll be great quality.
Will the stream be working?
It should be. It was.
It worked in the last game. Not the
I
last
couldn't
game, but
get
the
it
game
to work.
before.
It worked. Were you listening at the right time, or did you try and listen after the game was over, like my wife?
I've never heard
What
somebody pronounce the
time
T and listen
was the
before.
game?
What time was the game?
Yeah.
It was from 2 to 3:15.
The game that
3:30.
Ian broadcasted, I listened to on the stream, so I know it was working then.
I might have been. Wouldn't the stream be playing the radio station though? Because I couldn't get it to play anything.
It depends because it's
Okay.
not.
I may have
know.
listened just after that,
Gotcha.
but I couldn't get it to play anything. So
Gotcha.
That's why I didn't think it was working.
I think it's because it's technically supposed to be blacked out when it's not a game.
Oh really?
So,
Okay.
but I'm not overly confident in that actually working well. So
Forrest said that the Zilla boys did win the state title, but they might recruit.
he said they may recruit
Quote,
with
unquote.
quote unquote. I said they were like a Monty school.
Oh,
So,
no, that's
I was
not
just
what
throwing that out there.
That's not what we were talking
That's
about.
what I was talking about when I was
Oh.
like, they're a Monty school.
Is Zilla the county seat?
There we go. Anyway, Wednesday, 10:30 in the morning, we will have that on the air for 1490 KWOK. Hopefully, also on the stream, 1490kwok.com, because Ryan Trotter, who covers games down in Lewis County, will be over there, and he's agreed to broadcast that for us. So really excited that he's doing that. And that could be a heck of a game, by the way, because Kashmir played the number 2 seed Bellevue Christian and only lost by 3 points.
And keep in mind also, we do still have another local team alive in the 1B tournament. The Willapa Valley boys
Yeah.
are the 3rd seed.
Let's go.
And they are going to play the winner of 12 seed Garfield Palouse and 5 seed Nia Bay on Thursday in Spokane. We won't have a broadcast of that game, but keep an eye on it. We'll be rooting for the Willapa Valley boys from here.
Absolutely. I think it's time for a commercial break.
Yeah.
And then after this, we're going to be talking about the Athlete of the Week.
Athlete of the week.
Who will it be? Who's nominated? I don't know. Do you
Someone,
know?
And probably.
Stay tuned.
Spivey Realty Group's goal is to make buying, selling, investing, and renting real estate in Grace Harbor simple. They believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and community. Their goal is simple: get a group of strong-willed, hard-working people together who want to make a difference in Grace Harbor and to use real estate as the means of achieving that. Voted Grace Harbor's best real estate company. Find them on Facebook or visit graceharborrealestate.com. Spivey Realty Group, elevating small town real estate.
Thank you again to our sponsors, Spivey Real Estate Group. Thank you again for sponsoring our Athlete of the Week and the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz.
No relation.
What's the A stand for? Thank you. Gosh, man. I'm all about tradition. Don't try and break it. I will make it awkward.
I didn't listen.
That was weird. Daniel earlier said, hey, why are you hating on UW? You know why. Why do you need to ask that, Daniel? Come on. And then Francis recently just said the Zilla Poachers, which is funny because they're poaching players, but also because they're the Panthers. So the alliteration works.
Things are going to get awkward in here if my son Peyton ends up going where he wants to go for law school, because I've been kind of a waffler who kind of roots for the Cougs with you guys.
Yeah.
But if he becomes a Husky, then I just have to be a Husky fan.
Dude, if you go...
I've
I
no
don't think they'll
real
let him
tie to either of those.
Justin, they won't let him in.
Why?
Because he's a nice kid.
Wait, your brother went to UW.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Whoops. Forrest just said that it's the Leopards. Who's the Panthers? It's the Zilla Leopards?
Yeah, the Leopards.
Who are the Panthers? How did I screw that one up so
They're
bad?
both wild cats. Like,
Gross.
Just take it easy on
Dude,
yourself,
my bad,
buddy.
Forrest. That was way off.
Good job of listening by our listeners.
You know what? Our listeners are some of the best at listening. Sometimes they hear very well.
With their ERs.
Occasionally.
Oh, it's the Wenatchee Panthers. Interesting.
Okay.
Dude, how did
you
I
say
screw
you
that
hate
up?
us sometimes, Andrew?
I said sometimes I hate you guys.
Why? I thought we were being
No
funny.
reason. No reason.
Daniel, weren't we being funny?
Hilarious.
Hannah, were we being funny?
No,
Okay, well,
that was a bad person
I
to
shouldn't
ask.
have. She's the only other person here.
You could have asked Pax. He thinks
He's
we're
sleeping.
hilarious.
Shh, he's sleeping.
Oh, he is sleeping. Oh, Mavis is sleeping too. Oh, wait, no, she moved. I woke her up.
You woke them both up.
Oh, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, UW. Yeah, Peyton's not allowed. And if he does go, when you go after normal school, what is that, grad school?
Yeah.
It's not undergrad. What do you call it? Extra grad?
It's grad.
Oh, grad school. Post-grad? That doesn't count as much. Like, we still like Mike Gross, even though he did some post-grad work at UW. Like,
Does he not claim the Huskies? He does claim the Huskies.
but he also went to
that's
Wazoo, so it's...
He went to WSU for 2 years and then he transferred.
He got the best of both worlds. He's balanced. That's why he's such a great guy.
He should have got the
Yep.
best of both worlds. I suspect he got the worst of both worlds, but
You know what? Actually, this is making a lot of sense to me. He got the best of both, and that's why he's one of the nicest people I know.
Absolutely. Yep.
Even, I'm like, I don't know how the apple fell so far from the tree here, but Mike
hard
Gross,
work.
one
Well,
of
when
the
the-
dedication.
When the tree's when the tree's planted on a hill, you know, the apple just kind of rolls right down. All right, our nominees, Justin.
Let's start with Jilly Dalen
Let's
from
do it.
Montesano basketball.
Cookies.
Led the team with 16 points and also had 9 rebounds. I called it a convincing victory. It was a drubbing.
Yeah.
Does it qualify as a drubbing? Like, they were clearly better than the Bush School, and they controlled the whole game. And Jilly led them in points and had 9 rebounds as well. So definitely, I mean, we're getting down to the point now where, like, it's going to be the best performer from the winning teams because there's not much left.
Yeah.
And then for Willapa Valley boys, Blaine King had 20 points and 7 rebounds in a 59-51 win over Tulalip Heritage. Sorry, that burp actually came through on the microphone a little more than I intended for it to.
No, my dad texted in, the stream's a little bit late, so I'm going to... He says that's why I root for the Beavs, with the whole Wazoo UW thing.
Yeah.
So we're on the opposite side of the spectrum. So Andrew's dad went to Wazoo and UW.
Right.
And his kids went to either of those schools. My dad went to Oregon State. Jimmy and I went to Wazoo and UW, but we both root for Oregon State. So it's like a very weird...
You both
mirror
have
image.
a brother that went to UW. I totally spaced out the fact that your brother also went to UW.
We both have horrible people for brothers.
Have horrible brothers. But only one of you has a horrible dad who went to UW for post-grad. Don't tell him I said that. I didn't mean that, Mr. Gross. I'm sorry.
Daniel does say that he liked his time at Wazoo more.
That was Dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dad has been forced to admit on at least one occasion that he did enjoy his time. That kind of makes sense though, because it was his freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah.
So obviously.
Yeah. No, and he's more of an ag guy. All right, sorry. Back to the
I
nominees.
don't feel good about insulting Mr. Gross. That it's just like I insult.
You feel
people's-
dirty.
I feel bad. I almost said I feel
You
gross.
feel gross?
I feel bad about it. It's like I can count on one hand. I think the amount
Dude.
of people in my life that I would like to that I would feel worse about offending than Mr. Gross.
The way you're feeling right now is how I feel every time I accidentally say at the Gross's house, "Oh, gross."
You know what though, Daniel? I would love to offend your dad. If he were here right now, I would offend him intentionally. And he would rebuke me, and we would
Yes.
move on with our lives. As
Absolutely.
we've done since I was about 15 years old.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. 100%. Okay. All right. Blaine King.
Blaine King.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the third one is Skylar Bovey.
Oh, heck of a game.
Skylar is a Montesano alum who is now playing for Grays Harbor College.
Yeah.
What?
I'm sorry. No, it's just,
Okay.
yeah.
Montesano alum playing now for Grays Harbor College baseball, and went out there 2 weeks after losing his dad.
Yeah.
Came in relief, pitched 4.1 innings, allowing 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, getting the win in a game that was the Chokers' first win of the season.
Yep.
So, really big one. This is it's an emotional nomination. I'm gonna just come out and say this was my nomination. I threw that in there because I don't know if anybody knows Skylar's dad, Steve. Just passed away due to complications from lymphoma a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And Steve was an absolute pillar of the athletic community, especially the youth athletic community.
Yep.
Probably gave of his time and energy towards Monty youth. Really expanded beyond that with all the kids that he from Aberdeen and Elma that he coached as well. But youth football, youth baseball, Little League, he was the president for a really long time. Still, actually, until this past year, was the vice president of Monty Youth Football.
Yeah.
Having had his son been out of it for several years, still was giving of his time. Probably the most selfless person in regards to his time and effort towards the betterment of youth sports and the youth sports community.
Yeah.
Probably the most selfless person I've ever known, and had the great privilege of being friends with him for a long time. So Skylar lost his father a couple weeks ago, and has been playing for Grays Harbor College. It also got me seeing Caleb Ames in the box score here, driving in a run, getting a hit, stealing a base. Caleb, real good friends with Skylar, really close with Steve. Also graduated from Montesano. So being able to see those guys in the same box score kind of got me in the feels. I don't have a lot of feelings at this stage of life. And so when something gets me in the feelings, you know it's emotional.
You know it's emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve is such a great guy. You accurately described everything that he went through, worked through, the time he put in. I met him just playing some rec softball and then some old man basketball.
Old man basketball.
And man, he was so much fun to play with.
Really
It was an
was.
absolute blast. And I'm just so glad that I knew you well enough that he invited me to play with you guys.
Yeah.
Because that's how I got to know Steve. And it was like I was instantly part of the family, is what it felt like with Steve. And to quote a really cheesy movie that I just saw a video from recently, I mean, the world just lost a really great guy because Steve was an awesome dude. And yeah, I got hit quite in the feels when you sent that, but also that's a heck of a performance by Skylar.
Awesome.
High school baseball is so much different from college baseball. The work that Skylar has put in and the type of pitcher he is, it is so impressive to me to see his added success into college athletics. And I love the type of pitcher Skylar is, because he's not going to just throw 95 and dominate you. He is a pitcher's pitcher.
Yeah.
He locates, he throws different pitches.
Yeah.
He knows when to throw different pitches. He reads batters. I mean, the kid is a thinking man's pitcher, and I love watching him play and pitch. And so super excited that he's having good success at Grace Harbor. And I'm excited about that.
I think when I was coaching Skylar, and I'll talk to him at some point. He can correct me if I'm wrong. When I was coaching Skylar, 11-year-old all-star season, I'm pretty sure he was throwing 5 different pitches. A couple of them were variations of the same pitch.
Yeah.
But we had a 4-seam and a 2-seam fastball. He had a circle change and a little league curve. Mm-hmm. And like some kind of split finger thing that he was throwing. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was throwing a McGillicuddy. Like there's a pitch called a McGillicuddy that you can throw in Little League that's like a little different from
Okay.
what you can throw when you get older. So
Dude, I have no
but
idea what
this
that
is
is.
what
I'm gonna
he's been. It's like if you needed a guy to go out there and be able to hit his spots, throw a bunch of different pitches and keep guys off balance and
do you
keep
even
the ball down in the zone.
Yeah.
That was Skylar. It's always been Skylar. So yeah, you're right. He's not throwing a 94 mile an hour. He's got his fastball up quite a bit. If you go to our Twitter account, you can see some of his. I've retweeted some of his pitching sessions.
Right.
You could check out what he can do. But yeah, he's what did you call him? A thinking man's pitcher.
A thinking man's pitcher, a pitcher's pitcher. Like he pitches. He doesn't throw.
Yeah. And we still maintain it's impossible that was a balk.
Dude, I was going to bring that up. I'm so glad you brought that up. There's zero chance. If you would have told me any other player balked in that situation, I've been like, oh, man, that
probably,
sucks.
yeah.
But when as soon as I heard Skylar Bovey balked, I was like, nope, that umpire's an idiot.
Yeah.
Instantly. I know nothing else about the situation. Just a balk was called. Skylar was pitching, and I was like, that umpire's an idiot.
Yeah.
Should be fired immediately.
Wouldn't be enough for him to be fired. He should be executed.
Close. I'm not going to go quite that far.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know how to spell McGillicuddy, so I can't look up what that pitch is.
Okay.
Maybe if I throw in Little
They
League
call it
to
the
this.
cuddy.
The Cuddy? I'm really curious.
McGillicuddy Little League. Let's see what Google is not.
Yeah, not
coming
helping
up
me
with
out there.
anything,
Yeah,
so,
I don't know how to spell it.
I'm gonna have to ask Skylar about that.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
it's
curious.
I think it's
'Cause-
some kind of a circle change.
Dude, I just learned about a kick changeup for the
You're
first
not
time.
allowed to kick the ball as a pitcher,
Right?
Like you have to
But
throw it with your hand.
I just learned about a kick changeup for the first time due to Andres Munoz. So I've got lots to learn there. Francis trying to show how to spell McGillicuddy. I think that's how I was trying to spell it, but I'm not positive. I'll Google it with that anyway.
Francis goes to Dr. McGillicuddy. That's his regular.
Who the heck is Dr. McGillicuddy?
That's his doctor he goes to.
His family doctor?
Yeah, his family doctor is Dr. McGillicuddy, so he would know how to spell it.
Well, you know what? I know where my vote's going. So
What is it?
it's Skylar Bovey.
Okay, I concur.
Was it 4 1/3, 1 hit?
4 1/3, 1 hit, no walks, no runs, 3 strikeouts.
Wow. Are you burying the hatchet, Justin?
With Skylar?
Yeah, because Francis is voting for Skylar based on the fact that he gave us the timeless photo op of Justin wearing Duke gear. Hashtag RIP Steve.
You just had to lump that in together there, didn't you?
100%. Francis, of course Francis did, because he's Francis.
Yep. Moving on. You got me. Okay, you know what, Francis? You got me.
Yep. So congratulations, Skylar. We are so excited that you are also having success at the next level, especially playing for my... Is it an alma mater when it's JUCO?
You graduated from there.
I'll say alma mater. I also played for that team.
Yeah.
Way to go. And I'd love to see local kids play there too as well and have success. So well done, Skylar. You are our Spivey Athlete of the Week for your great performance for the Grace Harbor College Chokers. 4 1/3, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Love it.
And hopefully he'll listen to this show.
Also against Blue Mountain State. Okay, so maybe not State, but when I saw Blue Mountain, I was like, dude, that's just great.
I've never even heard of that school.
Neither have I.
That was the thing is I saw Blue Mountain. I was like, oh my gosh, where's Thad?
I was thinking the same thing when you first sent it. I was like, Blue Mountain. And I was like, oh, wait, what am I supposed to be reading here? Oh, Skylar, nice.
Don't ask what they do with Oreos.
No. Oh, no. No. You know what? We've got more stuff, probably not private school related, coming up on the other side of this break. Check it out. Listen, we're going to take a commercial break.
Listen.
Right now. With your ERs.
Now I'm just waiting to see what Daniel does.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Domashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Domashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit domashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
I sometimes realize that when I say that, it sounds like a dish made out of some type of cabbage. Like Domashevitz slaw.
Oh, some Domashevitz
Like
slaw.
some slaw. Some kind of a Polish cabbage side dish.
Ooh.
I wonder what would be in that. It'd
Definitely
have to have bacon in it.
bacon,
Cabbage.
probably sausage
Probably some
and cabbage. Sausage.
Bacon, sausage, pepperoni, salami,
Beets, maybe?
My mom used to make some stuff
ground beef.
called galunki,
Okay.
and it was cabbage rolled meatballs.
Okay.
So, or I guess meatballs rolled in cabbage. And she
Cabbage
said it.
was on the outside.
Yeah, the cabbage was on the outside, and it had like a tomatoey type sauce on top of it too.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
it was
good.
it was an old school Polish dish, is what she said. Galunki.
Pierogies.
Ooh,
Pierogies are good.
yeah. Food.
I just listed, like I said, Domashevitz slaw, which is a cabbage side dish, and then I listed like 5 kinds of meat, and you didn't even flinch. I was like, it would have bacon and sausage and ham
Yeah.
and ground beef, and you were like, yeah, that sounds about
It
right.
sounds good.
Daniel,
cabbage kiss.
Daniel was like, yeah, my mom made a Polish thing, and it was cabbage and
Meatballs.
In VeggieTales, this is going back a little ways, but in VeggieTales, wasn't there a joke about Polish dishes and like all of them are just stuffed with meat? I think there was.
If there's not, there needs to be.
Yeah. Polacks, hey, look, I'm a fair-skinned Polak.
Yeah.
We like meat.
Yes, we do.
I like meat in my mouth.
Yes, you do.
I've heard that about you.
I mean, shoot, my wife just made homemade sloppy joes, and however you pronounce it, she goes sloppy joes because old family thing.
Sloppy-joes?
She says sloppy joes. It's an old funny thing from when she was a kid, apparently. But yeah, sloppy joes. Anytime I say it, I'm like sloppy joes, sloppy joes.
That reminds me of a scene from King of Queens.
She had some. We had some meat that our friends gave us. It was elk and deer meat ground beef. It was like a mixture of both ground beef.
Burger?
Yeah, hamburger. What?
Elk and meat burger?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it wouldn't be ground beef, huh?
I'm sorry.
Ground venison.
I was so confused. I was like, yeah, hamburger. Yes, it was elk and meat burger. Best sloppy joes I've ever had. So good.
Sloppy Joes.
Sloppy joes.
There's a scene in King of Queens where, if you haven't seen that show, check it out. It's pretty funny. Where the old man, Arthur Spooner, played by, what is Ben Stiller's dad's? Jerry Stiller?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, let's order some pizza. There's a great neighborhood place around the corner. It's called Domino's."
Oh, Domino's.
Domino's.
Oh, Daniel says, give me a hell, give me a yeah. I'm not sure if he's talking about sloppy joes or just meat wrapped in cabbage.
Probably lots of meats.
Meats. What's the Arby's? We have the meats.
We have the meats.
Great slogan, terrible place.
bad restaurant.
I get sick every time I eat there.
When I was a kid, I used to.
Since you ate there, Daniel.
Gosh, I keep trying it thinking it's going to be better. No, it's been a while because I literally did that like 5 different times. Like, maybe it'll be better this time.
What about
Got
the
sick.
panda? How's the panda?
Dude, the panda's treating me right, man. It's treating me right, but also sucking away at my life savings.
Blue Mountain State. That's what the reference was.
That is, yes. Thank you,
Yes.
Daniel. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My dad says
he's silent about the Oreos.
My dad says, is hamburgers made from people from Hamburg? Which is, that's an old Calvin and Hobbes quote.
Yes.
And absolutely brilliant. And then when his dad tells him, no, it's made from cows, he goes, no, he says, no, it's beef. And Calvin goes, this is made from cows? Ew. I digress. Is it time for the 2 minute drill?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Let's go, hurry up! Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation, 44 seconds, hand the ball around. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye, don't worry.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
It's the TWO minute drill.
Whoa! Rumors are swirling about the future of Joel Embiid's NBA career after the Philadelphia 76ers center, not the cantor, was ruled out for the season with a knee injury. Justin, could you see Embiid retiring?
I had a
He
dream.
can't be that old, right?
I had a dream the other day that Joel Embiid retired. And I woke up and it was so real that I asked my son Makani, did Joel Embiid retire or did I dream that? And he was like, I think you dreamed that, Dad. But guess what? I can totally understand it. The guy's constantly hurt. He's never played more than 68 games in a season. He's only played 60-plus games like 3 times in his 9-year career.
Isn't that normal for NBA dudes now,
He
though?
had Bell's palsy based on some injuries that he has. Like, this
Yikes.
guy had serious medical issues, and also he just kind of seems generally unhappy. He's indisputably great when he plays, but he's been out so much. I wouldn't think, you know what? Yeah, he's gonna retire.
I had a dream my wife's water broke. It didn't happen.
Oh.
But I had to ask her
This
when
is
we woke
different.
up. Yeah.
This is different.
What?
Were you mad at her about it?
No.
Oh, good.
Why would I be mad at
I don't know.
I was concerned because the baby's not fully cooked yet.
cooked.
Yeah, he's got to bake in that oven a little bit longer.
Sounds so loud in my ears. Okay. The San Francisco 49ers have agreed to trade wideout Deebo Samuel to the Washington Commies.
What?
Receiving a 5th-round draft pick in
What?
return. Daniel, were you surprised at the price tag for Deebo?
I'm surprised that I'm so out of it. I apparently didn't know this happened. I've been so
Maybe I
locked in-
dreamed it.
I've been so locked into spring training. Wait, Deebo just went for a 5th rounder?
Did I dream this too, Andrew, or
Andrew,
is it real?
I have no idea. I don't know what happened.
We'll find out after the 2-minute drill.
I'm shocked. What?
I'm pretty sure it's real.
That's nutso. Go Commies. Because while I'm not like Deebo because he's a Niner,
I
he's
like
kinda-
Jaden Daniels,
He's
though.
kind of fun to play, and I think Deebo would play great with Jaden Daniels. Daniels? Jaden Daniels!
It's your name.
Okay, Daniel.
It's your own name.
The North Carolina Tar Heels men's basketball team finds itself precariously on the NCAA tournament bubble, NCAA tournament bubble, with a couple of regular season games left. Justin, what are their chances of making the field of 68 teams?
50-50.
Oh.
Seattle Times sports columnist Adam Jude wrote of his takeaways from Mariners spring training the other day. Jude said the Nerds did not do enough to upgrade their offense this offseason, but they are good enough to win the AL West. Daniel, do you agree?
Oh, really? I think if the last 35 games of the season project to the whole season, then yes. But do I think that's going to happen?
Yes.
I don't know if I think it yet. I hope it, but I don't know if I think it. I hope it. I hope I can. I hope I can. I hope I can. Oh.
I think that's how that works.
Francis says, I still get Barbara Manatee stuck in my head. My youngest child is 19. Yeah.
One for me.
I still get Water Buffalo stuck in my head. Daniel says every single silly song is a certified banger.
That.
Oh, Andrew said that. Yeah.
Said that.
Yes, 100%. Hundo P.
I was singing Barbara Manatee.
I know. Oh, where is my hairbrush?
Everybody's got a water buffalo. Yours is fast, but mine is slow. Where we get them, I don't know, but everybody's got a water buffalo.
Because you're my cheeseburger, my yummy cheeseburger.
Bro.
I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you.
I know all the words to that song.
Dude, it's so good.
Every single word.
My wife still sings the belly button song. I ain't got no belly button. My kids sing that too.
From the Boys in the Sink?
Yeah, the Boys in the Sink.
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's a good one. Yeah.
You don't know that one? Mm-mm. We're going to expose you
She
to that
knows
one.
the whole rap too. Yeah. And so my kids love it.
Would like to see that.
Yeah, it's great. Good times. Whew.
I'm going to ask her to perform that next time I see her.
Oh, she'll do it.
Okay.
Really? I think so.
Okay.
I'm also gonna look up Deebo Samuel here.
Andrew
real.
looked it up.
It is real.
He got traded for a 5th round pick.
I'm assuming it's a money thing, right? Like they couldn't pay him, and he's 30. He's like 30 years old.
Washington is taking on the
31.
entirety of Samuel's remaining contract, which includes a $17.55 million salary for 2025.
Dang.
Yeah, but I think it's still like a $30 million cap hit for
For
San
the
Francisco.
49ers, this move results in a substantial $31.55 million dead money cap hit in 2025, although it clears his contract off their books entirely by next year.
Next year. So there's a 1-year cap hit, but I think it's like $30 million.
It's 31.55.
That's crazy.
That's
So they're
nuts.
going to take they could just keep him on the roster and things are essentially better for them.
Yep.
So the idea was we need to get rid
He
of this
did
guy?
request
Apparently.
a trade.
Who gives a crap?
Yeah.
I don't understand why these teams are constantly caving to trade requests.
Seriously.
You could.
They'd be like, I'd like a trade, sir. And I'd be like, hey, no.
Deebo,
Okay, moving on.
You're under contract. You're on our team. If we trade you, we lose $30 million.
Yes.
It's a 5th round pick. That's a throwaway pick.
It's garbage.
Why did they even do
Dude,
it?
they traded him literally for a stale bag of Doritos and a warm Coke.
I really
would
like
be
Jaden
very
Daniels, so
tempted-
I'm happy that he went to the commies.
Yeah, good old Jaden Daniels.
I
Yeah.
would be very tempted to come back with a renegotiation, a contract renegotiation, and instead of being like just straight no, be like, I'll release you
Yes.
if I don't have to pay you anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So apparently we've hit our stride with topics that our fans love, and it's silly songs with Larry. Francis says my hairbrush is a tearjerker. Absolutely, because it ends with him not having any hair,
True.
which Francis totally
Also, Barbara
resonates.
Manatee,
Francis
underrated tearjerker.
also
Yeah. no hair.
has lost his hairbrush.
Yes. My sister says I have the cheeseburger song memorized. Absolutely. Daniel says all those are bangers. And then Jules says still taking up brain space. Absolutely. Yep. 100%. I think my favorite part about the Water Buffalo song is when, what's his name, Alfred comes in at the end. And he's
Archibald.
Like, Archibald, sorry.
What is
Archibald
wrong
Asparagus.
with you?
And he's like, where's my Water Buffalo?
No, he's saying, we're going to get nasty letters.
Yes.
You can't say everyone has a water,
water
buffalo.
buffalo?
People are going to write us nasty letters saying, where's my water buffalo? Why don't I have a water buffalo?
Exactly, because that's literally what I deal with on like a day-to-day basis. I'm like, hey, this sounds great for a social media post. and everybody's like, "Oh, we're gonna get nasty letters saying, why is my water buffalo? Why don't I have a water buffalo?"
If my lips ever left my mouth,
Yes.
packed a
Oh my
bag and headed south. That'd be
so
too
sad.
bad. That'd be so sad. How about the song of the Cebu?
Say
Cebu.
Our first dog as a family was named Saber.
Yes, absolutely. Whew. Okay, so
Wow, we definitely grew up in the 90s.
yes, we did. Joel Embiid, don't care. Debo, we talked about. Tar Heels, don't care. Mariners,
Let's go. I actually
it's spring
went-
training, and gosh dang it, I'm falling for it again.
Don't do it.
Hope springs eternal, man.
Do it.
I'm in.
Andrew?
I watched, or I turned on the first game of the preseason. I haven't even listened to sports radio since then.
Really?
Yeah, I've been
Dude.
listening to audiobooks.
Dude, Brock and Salk Spring Training Week is the best sports radio there is.
I lied. I've been listening.
Their interviews-
You dirty
to
liar.
Their interviews.
Yeah, their interviews.
Their interviews are good, and I have listened to those, but I haven't been listening to like the show because
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't want to hear them enjoy Arizona weather when I can't.
Yeah, 100, I get that. I get that.
And
Hundo
also,
fee.
I'm gonna be paying attention, but I'm not excited.
Gotcha. Dude,
Like
I fall in love with the hype. I'm that guy.
There's no hype. That's the problem for me. What is the hype? The hype is, hey, we're bringing back the same team as last year, but this time we're gonna be better.
Adam
But-
Jude disagrees. He thinks they could win the AL
So,
West.
Andrew,
They
here's
could win the AL West, but they're not gonna do it by being a really, really good team.
Andrew,
If
here's
they do, they'll do it by being slightly better than last year.
Andrew, here's my thought. What if the Mariners have moved on from guys too quickly who needed an adjustment period? That is the hype that
possible.
I am telling myself in my
That's-
brain. So I'm saying Colton Wong would have been great had he been here another year. Jorge Polanco, give him one more year. He'll figure it out.
He's gonna figure it out.
Mitch Garver, he's going to have 2
Garver
years.
Is battling for a roster position, Daniel.
Who?
Mitch Garver
Yeah.
is battling for a roster position.
Absolutely.
No, I'm saying
You
that
stole my ball.
I'm saying there's like a 1 in 6 chance that he makes the roster. He is not likely to be on the team.
Mitch Garver?
Yes.
Who's going to be the backup catcher?
I don't know.
Yeah, then no, that's
I'm
a
telling
trash
you-
stat. What your stat you just gave me was trash because you know
I'm
why?
telling
They
you-
need somebody to backup catcher,
I
and
believe
there's
they have
nobody
more
else
than
in the
one.
minor leagues who are any good to push him.
I
How
think they
far
do have a
away
backup.
is-
Harry Ford,
How
at least
far
a
away is
year.
Harry Ford?
At least a year.
Really?
Yeah.
I think in an emergency they could bring him up.
Okay. Outside
I also
of that,
don't think that they should have anyone else catch. I think that's
That would
terrible.
be
You
hard
think
to play
that-
baseball if nobody
you
catches
think
the
that
ball.
Cal Raleigh should just catch
Yes,
162
I do.
games?
I think the team would be better.
Dude,
about if
he
somebody
would get
playing
hurt
first
after
base-
100.
He already gets hurt after 50.
It's
He
why you-
plays hurt 100% of the time, Daniel.
True. I'm saying like his knees will give
Yeah,
out.
I know.
What about
do-
whoever's
I-
playing first base?
for
Should
the
they
record-
catch the ball if it comes to them?
For the record, I do understand that there has to be a backup catcher. And
I know.
like a regular rotating.
Could we
Yes.
get back Tom Lampkin?
Whoa, my guy. That's a blast from the past.
That's just like 20 years ago.
Just you know what,
25
Andrew?
maybe.
Player coach Dan Wilson is the backup catcher. He could shoot it up every 5 games,
Yeah. Dude, I might actually watch.
right?
I might.
That would be
I
the
might
best.
renounce my Orioles fandom and become a Mariners fan again.
Dude, get out of here. Nobody cares about your Orioles fandom and their hot young batters
I do have a question.
hit home runs.
I do have a question for you though about the Mariners. The
Yeah?
Mariners, as we call them. So you're saying the thing that you're clinging to hope for is that some of these guys who needed an adjustment period with, the sight lines and whatnot at what used to be Safeco Field that I can't remember the name of it now.
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile Park. Thank you. that
to mobile.
those guys might be able to kind of figure it out, have that adjustment, figure it out, be better, or
Yeah.
like at the very least be as good as they have proven that they can be elsewhere.
Exactly.
Okay, so how likely is it then that the Mariners pitching staff will be as good and as healthy as they were last year?
If I could reach your lips right now, I would put my finger on them.
And I would
As
be
creepy-
angry because
Yes.
that would be salty and gross.
So weird.
Yeah.
And gross.
I
yet
need
I would
to
do it.
admit that I confuse Mitch Garver and Mitch Haniger.
Oh,
Sorry.
It's so understandable, though. It's so two Mitches who
I
can't
am-
do
I
anything
am
but hit
sorry.
occasional dingers.
Mitch Haniger is who is likely to not make the roster.
Did you think Mitch Haniger was going to play backup catcher?
Yeah, it made sense in my brain.
dude, I'm so glad that you actually were like, wait a second. No, I got that wrong. Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
Mitch Dierberger.
I'm sorry about that. That was real bad.
Oh,
That shows how
man.
much attention I'm paying.
Yes.
Again, I'll be paying attention to the games, and I am hoping there is hope, but I'm not hyped.
You're right. I'm
there's-
hoped, not hyped.
There's
I was
nothing
no
that's
hoped.
making me super
Yeah.
excited.
Yes, I was no hoped before spring training, and then during spring training, I'm like, dang it, you got me hoped
Maybe
again.
It could happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because also, if Julio is just what everybody thinks Julio is, then that covers up so many things.
He
But
just has to be consistent. He could
Yeah.
be consistently worse than we've seen him play if he could just play consistent.
Yes, that's so true.
Have you guys had a Mariners season in which you were actually at least somewhat engaged that during spring training you didn't have some hope?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Spring training is the season of hope.
So this is the reason I asked this, because hearing I listen occasionally to David Sampson. He's a former Marlins and Montreal Expos team president, talking about how spring training is the season of hope, and even
Yeah.
people in like the front offices of these teams will convince themselves during spring training that
Yeah.
there's hope.
Even the White Sox
though
are like, oh,
Exactly.
dude, we got it this year, man.
there might be like one or two teams in all of Major League Baseball that
Yeah.
are going into the season like, no, we're in tank mode, we're in rebuild mode.
Yeah.
But most of the
Yeah.
teams think maybe we'll catch lightning in
Yeah.
the bottle.
even when the front offices are like, no, you're losing as many games as possible. You are going to make adjustments in game to lose games. The players during spring training are still going, hey, I think we could be good.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I remember the last time that I didn't feel any hope, the Mariners had that crazy stretch to start the year where they won like 17 games in a row, and then I immediately got hope, and then it was like the worst season ever after that. That was brutal. But I did get to see one of those games where they won in extra innings. Courtney and I went up there, and we had the best seats of our life, and they ended up winning in extra innings. So that worked out.
That was
Omar
awesome.
Navarro with the game-winning hit. That was like prime Vogelback Belly Wars years. I'm not going to read Francis's comment.
I want to read
Francis,
it.
stop talking.
I want to read it for a specific reason.
Why?
So Francis said Julio will improve as soon as he's wearing pinstripes. And the thing is, I know when Francis sends that message, it's not because he wants us to respond to it. It's because he's watching and he wants to see how we react to it when we read it. And you
reacted.
and I both visibly cringed and looked at each other.
Yep.
And when I was watching the N2 Media podcast the other day, I did
know
that.
why that's-
I sent them a message, not because I thought this would be fun for the podcast, but because I wanted to make them laugh. And I broke Matt Evans.
Well done.
He laughed. I'll
Nice.
tell you later what I said. It's not
right.
appropriate for this.
For our show?
You
For
know
our show.
why
Yeah.
he'll improve when he reaches the twilight of his career and goes and plays for a couple years for the Yankees.
Steroids?
Because it's a tiny little bandbox.
Exactly.
and
He just has
it's
to hit
easy
pop-ups all day.
To be good in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
He can
exactly.
swing a toothpick
Just
in a little league park.
My sister
based-
says that we need T-shirts that say "I'm hoped."
I'm hoped.
No,
Absolutely, with a little Mariner symbol on it.
The
I'm
next
hoped.
T-shirts that we get are going to say "Screw you, Lyndon Christian" on them.
I forgot.
If we do custom,
we already have.
that's
yeah.
our wiffle ball jerseys
Yes.
this coming summer.
Yeah.
Summer is going to be "Screw you, Lyndon Christian."
Was it screw you or suck it?
One of those.
One of those. Yeah.
I could go either way.
Yeah. Francis says, so true. I'm a visual animal. Yeah.
Speaking of
I was wondering if you were
Francis,
gonna read
Yeah?
that.
it was fun to see Tiggy the other day.
Oh, nice.
Literally yesterday, actually.
Was Francis there too?
He was, but I don't.
Oh.
I
Talk
didn't,
about
Bummer.
That's
That's-
apples rolling down the hill.
So
In a way.
I didn't care. See, this is the thing. Like Andrew was saying, I didn't mention that I saw Francis because I didn't care about seeing Francis.
Right.
I was excited and happy to have a chance to talk to Tiggy for a few
Well, you're
minutes.
forced to see Francis like every day.
Yeah, and none of them are exciting. Like never. There's never been a time in my life that I've seen Francis and been like, "Oh, cool." But I did get to see Tiggy,
Dude.
and chat with him a little bit, and that was really nice. He's running track for St. Martin's. My son's running track for the University of Puget Sound.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Forrest just said that Lyndon Christian softball is coming to play Monty and Hoquiam at the end of March, and he dares us to wear the shirts. We need to show up to those games wearing Suck It Lyndon Christian shirts.
Except well, if there's softball games, don't they play softball games on like weekday afternoons?
Yeah,
Probably.
they do, but we can get the day off. Do they have any
We might have to get
do
the
they,
day
do
off.
they have any Badgemas playing softball for Lyndon Christian?
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No,
Keep
I
going.
kind of
you
want
saw
to do it.
Tiggy, and Tiggy's a delightful young man.
Tiggy's awesome. You know, he came over and we chatted for a little bit. He ran the 400, did a good job. It was the first time he's run something off a block start since he was in high school. He usually does the distance runs.
Yeah.
But he did great. So I was really happy to see him, and I think it's really fun just kind of in general to see all the posts. I saw another post about Emmy Spencer play softball season's about to start where she's playing college softball. I'm blanking on the school, but she's playing college
remember
softball.
Either,
I feel like the amount of kids from Grays Harbor and Pacific counties who are going on to play sports collegiately, whether it's D1, D2, D3, community college, NAIA, whatever level they're playing sports, there are so many kids who are furthering their education by athletics that it's just so fun. I get excited every time I see it, regardless of what sport it is or who it is or what level it is. I get really excited when I see that. So to have two of our players together, I got to have that during one of my son's football games. Where he played against Austin Snodgrass from Raymond. I was like, it's so cool. And so now he's at a track meet, and he's going there at the same place where Tiggy is. It was just Timmy Higgins, by the way. That's Tiggy.
Yeah.
He is a Hoquiam grad and was a track star. Also played basketball. Really good defensive basketball player. Multiple league and district titles.
Dude, are they going to
track
have
as well.
any meets where Evergreen's there too? And it could be Tiggy, Peyton, and Jalen. Is Jalen? No, Hannah's not here. Is she doing
Jalen
track
doing
again?
throwing
She's doing
events?
track.
She's throwing javelin
She's distracting herself from the fact that her basketball career is over
by throwing
moving on
things
to the next
by throwing things really far.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
Sorry. I'm
That's all
sorry
I
I
had.
interrupted you a couple times with that. That's
was
really
all
cool.
I had on that.
Also, the pictures you sent and posted of Peyton.
He's freaking huge.
Oh my gosh.
He's so big.
Dude.
He's like,
He's freaking yoked, man.
so he ran his senior year. He was heavier during football, but his senior year, he ran track at like 178 pounds. And right now he's teetering around 200.
Jeez.
And he's been doing football off-season lifts. And so he's just jacked. He's just freaking huge.
He's
And it's so
massive.
funny looking at him out there with other runners because it's like watching him play basketball as a guard, a 5'10" guard, and looking like Traden Carter's the only other comparison I can think of where like you're a guard but you're huge. You look out of place.
Exactly.
And it's like that in track where he's like standing next to the other runners. He's just massive.
All right. Do you have a favorite?
I just want to point out
Oh.
that Francis just came out with possibly his most accurate comment of all time.
Which is
He said that nobody cares about seeing Francis.
That's true.
It's a weird twist for him to.
Yeah, that's a good
to-
point. He said call him Sir. Is it Sir Tiggy or Sir Peyton? Which one is he talking about? I'm not positive there.
Have either of them been knighted?
I don't know.
I don't know. How much of what Francis says makes sense?
That's a good call.
We shouldn't try
That's
to
why.
analyze
That's
it.
why I pointed it out.
Is it time for your favorite part of the show?
It is.
Oh,
Serving questions up on a silver platter,
Like
where the
cookies.
points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump Daniel.
Stump Daniel is brought to you by the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz, no relation.
What's the A stand for?
Daniel, if you've been paying attention to Mariners spring training, you will do really well in this.
oh no. I've been
According-
trying to.
According to MajorLeagueBaseball.com and the statistics that are contained on that website, 7 Mariners have hit at least 1 home run this spring. With 7 guesses, how many can you name?
Is my challenge to tell you how many I can name?
Yes.
0, and now I'm going to get them all wrong.
Oh, you found the loophole. All right. You get
Okay.
7 guesses to see how many you can get. Let's say I'm going to go 6 of them is Beeve Zone, 5 Coug Zone, 4 Husky Zone, 3 or less Duck Zone.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Mitch Haniger,
Mitch Haniger is correct. He has hit 1 home run this spring.
Lazaro Montez,
Lazaro Montez is correct. He has hit 2 home runs this spring.
Rowdy Telez,
Rowdy Telez is correct. He has hit 1 home run this spring.
Hogan Windish,
Hogan Windish is correct. He's the other guy who's hit 2 this spring. You're 4 for 4.
Ooh, now's where it gets tough.
Well, you're already in the Husky Zone. Get 1 more and you get to Coug Zone. You rattled off those 4 so fast.
Yeah. Oh.
I hadn't even heard of 3 of those guys that you just said. I have no idea who they are. No idea.
I had no idea who Hogan Windish is. I think I knew who everybody else was.
Rowdy Telez?
Yeah, I knew who Rowdy Telez was.
Is he the new Evan White? Like he's the first baseman that's going to come up and be awesome?
No, he's a guy who's bounced around the league a lot. Played for the Pirates a while ago. He's just a massive human. He's like 6'4", 300 bills probably.
Okay.
Cole Young?
Cole Young is not on the list. You're 4 for 5.
Dang it. I know there's going to be another one that I'm going to kick myself on.
If you want, I could kick you.
No,
That way
thanks.
you wouldn't have to do it to yourself.
Appreciate
I
it.
just want to be helpful. There is one other player on this list whom I've heard of.
Okay. So there's somebody you've heard
There's
of.
somebody I know.
Is it... No, I don't think he's hit one yet. Gosh dang it.
It is not Julio Rodriguez.
No, it's not.
Good guess, though.
I don't think it's Cal Raleigh. But who else have you heard of?
Who have I heard of? It is not Jared Kelenic.
He's not there anymore. Although Colt Emerson, very similar to Jared Kelenic.
It is not Bucky Jacobson.
I'm going to say Ryan Bliss?
Ryan Bliss, I'm sorry, is not on the list. You are 4 for 6. If you want to get out of the Husky zone and into the Coug zone, you need to get this one right. There are 3 guys on the table.
Harry Ford.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It is not Harry Ford.
I started off so
You
hot.
started off so hot. You got immediately into the Husky zone. You end in the Husky zone.
That sucks.
That's
Not
2
good.
players have hit 2 home runs. It is Lazaro Montez and Hogan Windish. Windish.
There you go.
The 5 players who have hit 1 home run are Blake Hunt, who's a catcher,
Right.
Samed Taylor,
Oh, Samad Taylor.
yeah, who's a left fielder,
Dang it! I should have known.
Rowdy Tellez,
Yep.
first baseman, and a couple of Mitches.
Garver!
Garver and Haniger each hit a home run. If you had gotten Garver, you would. The guy who's going to barely maybe not make the roster as the backup catcher. Then you would have been in the Coug zone, but instead you're in the Husky zone.
Dang it! I knew that Garver had hit a home run.
That's a bad job by you.
Bad job by me.
And then I squeaked when I said it, so
Yeah.
it was also a bad job by me.
Yeah, Yankees have hit 14 home runs as a team this spring. You know how many people care, Francis?
A lot, actually, because New York is the most popular team.
Shut up, Andrew. I almost said shut up, Andrew.
Yeah, but they don't care because they won't start paying attention until October.
I just said something bad, and then you told Andrew to shut up.
When really you should be telling Francis to shut up.
Shut up, Francis.
Well, that is going to conclude Stump Daniel, and I don't know, is that going to conclude our show for the day?
I think so.
Okay.
I have to go. My sister's back in town,
Oh,
so
nice.
she's gonna be here for a while.
Welcome back, Jewel.
My sister's here for a while, and so I'm gonna go help her move. That's
like
what
it.
I'm gonna go do.
Fun.
That's what I gotta go do.
You know, on a day where I say Daniel and Liston, I feel like that's what I gotta go do.
Well,
He should probably not let you carry the fragile things.
I think in conclusion, as we wrap up this show where Daniel doesn't carry the fragile things, that's going to do it for our show, The Scrimmage, which is brought to you by Spivey Realty Group and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. So for my co-host, Daniel Listen Hargrove,
And my co-host Justin, I dreamed some things, and I don't know if they're real, Domashevitz.
they mostly were not, and our trusty producer, Andrew Trash Stat Gross. You've been listening to The Scrimmage.
Whoops, wrong Mitch.